Money myths. Renting is just flushing your money down the drain. So let's get into the video. Today's agenda. Is it true? The facts. The problem. What next? So is it true? No, it's not true. Renting is not flushing money down the drain, despite many people's beliefs, just so long as whilst renting, you're saving up to buy an investment property which can pay you instead, something which most people who buy a home to live in never actually get around to doing. The facts. Did you know, according to Property 118, there are approximately 2.6 million landlords from a UK population of approximately 68 million, which means that's only 3.8% of landlords. According to gov.uk, 52% of those landlords purchased their first property with the intention of renting it out. Over a third, 35%, bought their first property to initially live in themselves. Few landlords acquired their first rental property through inheritance or as a gift. As you can see, 7% and 1%. So what does that say? That says a lot of things. It shows that there's not a lot of landlords actually out there, but there's a lot of people in the UK population, but not a lot of landlords. And if I was to go and get the statistics for how many people are homeowners, you'll probably find out there are a lot of people out of that 68 million that are homeowners, a lot more than there are landlords. So people have actually gone about getting the deposit to buy a property, but they've gone and bought a property to live in. So that's the mistake. Make your first property purchase an asset, not a liability. You don't want to be taking your time, spending years, grinding, stacking money, and then basically getting a property to live in that can't make you any money. And then from that point onwards, you're stuck. Use that first deposit to go buy an investment property as much as you can. The problem, a lot of people get sucked into the idea of owning their first home to live in and then spend years saving for the deposit. But once they get their first home, they struggle to afford to save up again for another one. So they don't ever get around to doing it. Because if you think about it, when they're saving up for that first deposit, their first home, maybe, for example, a lot of them might be living at home. They might be, renting a place at that time, and whatever they're doing, they're living somewhere, but they're stacking up money for the deposit on the first property. But then when they get the property, they have a hard time stacking up for a second deposit because it took so long to get the first one. And now they got the expense of that home they've just bought, and a lot of other things get in the way. Life gets in the way, so they never get around to it. They just maybe just live in that property, and maybe if they get the chance, they'll rent out that property that they lived in if they move out to a new home. But the better way to do it is to really get your home first, get your property first as an investment. So what next? So here's what to do next. Now that we are clear regarding the money myth, get on the property ladder, but as a landlord first. That's what I want you to do. I don't want you to just rush into, getting your first home to live in, rush to go become a landlord, rent a home to live in the meanwhile. Get a few under your belt first before buying a home to live in. So if you can get a handful of properties under your belt and then go back to basically go and buying a property to live in, that's a much better position to be in. So your action items for today's video are as follows. 1, start saving for a deposit. Go calculate how much you'll need to get onto the ladder for yourself for a property to rent out. This is not for you to live in. 2, look for your first investment property. Even if you're just starting to save now for an investment property, go start looking at, potential areas that you can buy in. What are the prices? What kind of size and type of property? Go do your due diligence and start, looking for your first investment property. Maybe even go view some potential properties, even in spite of you not having the money at the moment. It just gets you into the swing of things and gets you prepared and gets you committed to actually, following through. Because I want you guys making more money rather than focusing on spending more money. If you're just buying a property to live in, yeah, it's great, it's nice. You got a home of your own, but then, in terms of finances, you haven't really done anything much. So as usual, like, subscribe and share, leave a comment below and I'll give you my 2 cents.